You're listening to the Purdy Girl Podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Kelly Purdy. My mission is to connect military spouses, fiancés, girlfriends, and booty calls worldwide. So let's do this. Hey, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is doing well out there. I hope no one has the Rona, and I hope if you're a mama with kids in school and you're doing distant learning, I hope you haven't put your head in the oven yet. I gotta tell you, being pregnant and having the baby during this pandemic was crazy, but I would much rather go through that than go through distant learning right now. You parents that had to figure that all out back in March when the schools closed and then go through summer and then to come up on the new year and have to figure this all out again. No. Seems like a huge nightmare and a half. And I feel for you. I really do. Most of my siblings are going through that right now. And I'm like, pass. I'll just stay home with my brand new baby and quarantine in my apartment forever and ever. I had a girlfriend recently that reached out and asked if I would be her like accountability coach and get her, a good wellness schedule, fitness, nutrition. And I agreed and we were going to tackle it together. This was a few weeks ago, but then school started and she's got, I think, a couple of young ones. And she messaged me and was like, hi, I cannot worry about diet and exercise right now. Literally all of my energy is going into this distance learning. And I was like, girl, I get it. No worries. I just told her, hit me up when you're ready. And I respect that about her, We all know our limits. But I will say it's in times of stress that there's just something to moving your body and fueling it well. Sticking to a regimented plan where you're giving it lots of energy throughout the day might not be the best right now, but I would suggest to do something. Go for a long walk at night, drink an extra glass of water, be aware of your thoughts. Do your best to balance things out right now. Kale in one hand and vodka in the other. You know what I'm saying? Balance. I wanted to talk about fitness and nutrition today and just sort of where my mind is with all of that. If you've, followed me for a while or known me for a while, this has been a big staple in my life and it's changed obviously from getting pregnant to having a baby. So I'm kind of in this new place with health and fitness and nutrition. And I just want to talk about it. I want to be honest with you, come from like a really genuine, authentic place with everything. That being said, I just got to say, I struggle with worrying I'm going to offend someone. When it comes to fitness, I can just be kind of intense and just no bullshit. I worry about that a lot, especially on this podcast. It might turn some people off and I get it. I'm just that way. I'm balls to the wall, kind of psycho, and that can be off-putting to a lot of people. But I got to tell you, that's what I need in order to get it done, reach whatever goal I have. I will never get the results I want if I follow this narrative of like, just do what feels nice that day, which I think that there's a time and place for do what feels nice that day, right? But if you have a goal, a specific goal, I don't think that is the kind of mentality. I've never been able to reach any goal with that mentality. I'll just say that. That being said, I do have days like that. I do have days like that. But then I know that I'll have to train harder the next day if I want to see any kind of traction, right? And I don't know if it's just from having a baby or maybe it's the fact that I haven't been able to train hard due to being pregnant, but I'm craving a challenge, like a big, fat, serious challenge physically and mentally. I want to be pushed beyond anything I've done before. And I want to be able to talk about that with you all. Like I said, mentioned it before, I get really intense when I set my sights on something. I was that way with, my competitions. I was that way with getting out of debt. I'm just that way in general. And I think I'm like that because that's how I've gotten results in the past. So if that's a turnoff to you, you might not like where this podcast is going, but that's the thing. I think too many people are wishy-washy with what they want and they give up on themselves so fast because everyone around them is like, it's okay, you can try again later. And listen, I have been that friend because I'm afraid of offending people. But I don't want to be that friend. I want to be the friend that's like, listen, bitch, the time is never going to be perfect. You have to make yourself a freaking priority or you're never, ever going to do the thing. That's what I want. That's what I would need. I would need someone to say that to me. I would need someone to kick my ass and tell me I'm capable of bigger and better. And that's what I like. That's what I liked about being in the fitness industry. Like their mindset was always like, no one cares, train harder. And that's off-putting to some people, and I get that. But I like that. I crave that because that's what pushes me. And honestly, that's where I want to come from. Like even in this podcast, when I talk about health and fitness, because that's how I know how to reach those goals. So maybe that's what you need. Maybe if you haven't reached your fitness goals in the past, maybe you need to switch that mindset. And I'm just going to, throw that out there. I plan to talk about this more, the postpartum fitness journey. And I want to be as honest as possible with you, especially if you're in the same boat as me. I don't know what I weigh. And honestly, that will never be discussed, mostly because that's a big point I'd like to make. It's not about the number on the scale. It's not about numbers. It just doesn't matter. The scale doesn't matter. I'm not chasing that number. It's never been a healthy mindset for me. It's about how I'm feeling. It's about how my clothes fit. And it's about my confidence. Always. When I start to obsess about the number, that's when it just isn't fun anymore. It's not healthy. I get really down on myself, and that's just not where I want to come from. So, what am I doing right now? I'll tell you. Right now, I plan to ease into running and lifting again, along with eating a mostly paleo diet. So I follow the 80-20 rule, like for example, just for lunch. By the way, I hope you can't hear the washer and dryer going on behind me. I'm really sorry. I'm usually good about turning it off. Oh my gosh, I'm going to turn it off. Sorry. Like, oh my gosh, that's getting really loud. Um, But for example, at 80-20 lunch that I just had, I did like a salad with cucumbers and red onion and Kalamata olives. Oh, so good. I love olives so much. And I mixed that up with some salt and pepper and a little bit of ranch. So obviously ranch is not paleo. And then I had a chicken breast and a few club crackers. Club crackers are not paleo. So like mostly paleo, but then a few little yummy things just slid in there. And that's kind of what I've been liking lately. There's no reason to get like psycho intense right now. I just enjoy eating that way. My body feels good eating that way. So that's just sort of where I'm at. And really, I'm thinking I want to share more on this in my stories on Instagram. So make sure you're following along for ideas or motivation, like if that's interesting to you. I'm going to start training also for a race here pretty soon. I'll post more about that. Probably just like a 5K to start, just because I really like to push myself with those, like to see how fast I can run. and beat my previous time. I want to do a half marathon. I'm thinking even maybe a full marathon, which is crazy. I thought I swore those off, but I'm feeling motivated to do it maybe in the spring. So yeah, like if you are down with that and want to train with me, just kind of like through Instagram, like let's do it. I'll post what I'm working out and we can do that together. Here's the thing. Ultimately, I hope you're taking care of yourself out there. Maybe right now isn't the time to chase a big, lofty fitness goal like a marathon, but you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe in the midst of a shitstorm, it's the best time. Have something that's just yours, And each day that you get in the run or you get in the lift or you get in that healthy meal, that'll be just such a confidence boost for you. And you'll be so proud of yourself and you'll do it the next day and the next day. You need that. We all need that, especially right now. I know it doesn't feel like you have time. I don't feel like I have time. Believe me, I get it. But we have to make time for ourselves. We cannot pour from an empty cup. People keep telling me that ever since having a baby. They're like, take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. And it's so true. For me, fitness and nutrition is the quickest and easiest way to prioritize self-care. That and a long shower. I went down to my gym today and I ran for the first time in months. And it wasn't anything to write home about. It wasn't like crazy fast or anything, obviously, but holy hell, did it feel so good. I ran and I took in like these big, deep breaths while I was running. I didn't even realize how much I needed that. And I lifted too. I just did 5 pounds in both arms and it was hard. I'm like, oh my gosh, where did my strength go? But I did it. I need to lift mentally. You know why? Because it tells my brain that I'm strong. I need that. We all need that. So even if you don't feel like you know what you're doing, just start. Get on Pinterest, find a little routine, and just start. Don't overthink it. I think so many people that they stop themselves, but they overthink it so much. You'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you started, and you'll be so proud of yourself. When you work out, you'll want to eat better. And when you eat better, you feel better. And when you feel better, you're a better mama, you're a better wife, sister, friend, daughter. It's such a game changer. I know that. You know that. Don't put it off any longer, okay? We have to stay strong throughout this crazy time. And you know what? I'm kind of done saying crazy time. It's always a crazy time. Health and fitness need to be a priority in the good times and the bad times. So let's get after it and make ourselves a priority. Okay? Okay. Please, please remember to share this podcast with a friend if you like this and leave a 5-star review if you haven't already. I appreciate you all so, so much, and I will talk to you on Monday. Thank you for listening to Purdy Girl Podcast. If you have a second, please rate and review and share this podcast with somebody you think would love it. See you next week.